Are these $25 hammocks from Amazon any good? Welcome back, ladies and gents. My name is Matt. Thank you guys for clicking on that watch button. My channel is all about hiking and backpacking, and I'm into hammock camping. If any of that sounds interesting to you guys at all, consider clicking on that subscribe button. Today, we're talking about something I get asked about quite a bit. Obviously, I love my hammocks. I do get asked quite a bit of hammock questions, but a lot of people ask me about budget hammock options. I see a lot of people suggest online on forums all the time these ridiculously cheap Eno style hammocks. So I picked this one up off Amazon for 25 bucks. And yeah, we're gonna take a look and see if this may be something I could look at for using on a trip. The weight on this thing, 319 grams or 11.25 ounce. It's a 9-foot hammock or an 8.5-foot hammock compared to my 11. So you'll see like a size difference with this strung up compared to the Warrior. This does not have a ridge line on it. So as you can see on the Warrior hammock here, I've got the ridge line up above me that keeps the bug net suspended off me and whatnot and keeps me in that correct lay. But yeah, let's get this thing strung up in the tree. We'll take a look. It comes built into its own stuff sack. So when you open it up, the stuff sack actually becomes a pouch on the other side. And one thing I noticed on them that I don't like, but I kept in because this is how it shows up, it doesn't have any kind of amp steel continuous loop. It's literally this like, I mean, it's not like the cheapest piece of webbing here, but I will eventually replace that with some amp steel continuous loops. But let's pop this thing up in the tree. Well, let's kick the shoes off. Now let's see. Now, I am a right leg type person, so my feet go to the right side, shoulder goes to the left. I guess I can get relatively flat. One thing I'll point out right now that I feel is this, where this stitching is between the two tones, where you've got the gray to the blue, this triple stitched seam here. I can feel it up into my back and in behind my shoulder. Even like, and it gets, I find it like gets more uncomfortable the more diagonal I go. It puts it more into my spine. I don't know if that's just like an anatomy of my body thing, but I do not find that comfortable. I kind of have to yeah, to avoid that I have to get my back into the middle of the hammock and it's pulling my knees up, and I can feel my knees are hyperextending, and I can feel it on my heels here too. Basically have to get myself into the blue portion of the hammock, and there's no way that I can get flat that way. Maybe a sleeping pad is going to be the way that this works. I have my underquilt out here, and I totally had plans of hooking my underquilt onto this thing, but with this ridge here, there's no way. It's ridiculously uncomfortable. I'm not even going to bother trying it. There's no way that I would even try sleeping a night in this. Just feeling that seam underneath me, because it's thick. The fabric is, you can tell it's rolled over twice, so it's like 4 layers of fabric, pretty thick thread, and it's very rigid. Where the body material has some stretch to it, where it's folded over like 4 times here on this seam. It is super rigid and it has no stretch. So like the blue part under my back stretches, and then you hit this like really hard seam that has no stretch, and that is ridiculously uncomfortable. I don't know if all the Eno hammocks are like that, but yeah, this is not gonna work. But like I said, we're gonna go get a couple sleeping pads and we're gonna try this out with a pad, see if that helps. First, we're gonna do the old blue closed cell foam. This is actually the dog's bed. This is Wanda and Remy's bed. And if you guys are aware, I'm not a big fan of pads and hammocks, but I think in this case it's got to be done. Let's see if this helps. That definitely eliminates it. I don't feel it anymore. Can get more flat. If somebody was looking into getting into hammock camping, this would definitely be an option. I mean, if you have one of these closed cell foam pads, if you had the Ridge Rest or the Z-Lite pads or the Z-Rest pads or whatever they're called, the accordion one or the roll-out ones or one of these blue foam pads will definitely work. Can't see why an air pad wouldn't work in here, but let's check that out too. Thermarest Evolite, let's see how this goes. You want to kick your pad onto the diagonal that you're going to lay on, that way when you climb in, you're not having to shift the pad as much underneath you. I mean, you do still end up having to shift the pad, but it just makes it a little less finicky. You also want to make sure your pad is like fairly partially deflated. That's just too much. Definitely eliminates any of the ridges. I mean, it's not the most uncomfortable thing I've ever laid on, honestly. Like, it just, what I don't like about using a pad inside a hammock is this right here. This piece here, because it pulls this fabric up tight close to you, which I like about the hammock is it hugs you. But I find even with a top quilt, what it does is this compresses and I get cold on my arms. With an underquilt, the down wraps up around you this way, so you don't get that cold spot. That's the one thing that I don't like about using a pad in a hammock. I can't say I'm like the most overly impressed with the cheap hammock. I don't know. I mean, I can get relatively flat on this thing. I think I could get comfortable. It's this seam here that I'm not a fan of. Like I said, this is the only ever parachute style hammock I've ever really tried out, so I don't know if the Eno brand is better. I don't know if any of the other cheaper ones on Amazon will be any better. I don't know if this would be a great introductory way to get into hammock camping. I mean, I think if you pick this up and you experience what I'm experiencing with this right now, you'd be pretty disappointed with hammock camping and you may not want to continue to try it, but I don't really know what else to say. If you are somebody that uses one of these 8.5 to 9 foot hammocks, the parachute style, and it works out for you, you've got any tips and tricks for somebody, any tips for me, anything that I am missing out here that I'm not doing that might make this more comfortable, drop it in the comment section for me down below. You know, it could help me out, could help anybody else out as well. But yeah, that's all I caught on this one today, guys. As always, hi, I'm Maddie. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys on the next one.